The USDA just released a new set of dietary guidelines, and this time they included a section
on how to meet all your nutrient requirements as a vegan. It's in Appendix 5, which we're going to link right here. What are the US Dietary Guidelines? What we're telling you today, they're not our words. We're actually reading out of the Dietary Guidelines. Every 5 years, a federal advisory committee, which is composed of prestigious researchers in the fields of nutrition, health, and medicine, conduct a multifaceted and robust process to analyze the available body of scientific evidence. Their work culminates in a scientific report called the Dietary Guidelines. We've got breakfast, lunch, a snack, and dinner. And we have taken this humongous report and condensed it into
one little guide that I created.
2 pages. Before we get into that guide, and what you all want to know is, how do you be a healthy vegan? How do you meet your nutrient requirements? Whether it's protein, fat, carbohydrates, fiber, or the micronutrients, which are all the vitamins and minerals. Even your physical activity requirements are in the guide.
Today, half of all Americans suffer from one or more preventable chronic diseases that are related to their food pattern.
How much does this cost us?
$150 billion, according to the USDA.
Right there. And that was in 2008. We've gotten a lot more obese, and healthcare has gotten a lot more expensive. Can you imagine where that $150 billion could have been spent? How many Teslas could we all be driving right now if we just ate a little better? And guess what? It's in here. We're going to show you how to do it. Now more than ever, we recognize the importance of not focusing on individual nutrients,
like protein,
or individual foods,
like eggs,
but on everything we eat and drink. Healthy eating patterns as a whole to bring about lasting improvements in individual and population health. So how are we going to do that, Kristen?
by eating more plants.
I've given us 5 goals that are pervasive throughout these dietary guidelines. And goal number 1 is follow a healthy eating pattern across a lifespan. So what does that mean?
That means adopting new healthy habits.
It means you just don't eat like crap and then crash diet. You have to make eating healthy work for you, work in your environment, and we're gonna help you with all that. We have our free whole starch low fat guide that anybody can follow. We'll link that here. Number 2, focus on a variety of nutrient dense foods. So what do you think nutrient dense foods are?
Well, it wouldn't be meat or eggs or anything like that.
Those are completely lacking in
or
nutrients.
olive oil, there's no nutrients in that.
Why would you think taking an olive filled with all of its nutrients and fiber and stripping out just the oil would make the oil healthy? If the olive oil was really healthy, wouldn't you be better just eating the whole olive?
Number 3, limit calories from added sugar, saturated fat, and reduce sodium intake.
How much saturated fat and sugar does it say you can have in this guideline?
10% of your diet. That's it.
So now you're thinking, okay, well I can have 10% of my diet from saturated fat and sugar. Wait a minute. Executive summary, bullet point 3. For most calorie levels, there are not enough calories available after meeting food group needs to consume 10% of calories from added sugar and 10% of calories from saturated fats and still stay within calorie limits. What does this mean?
That means you can't eat any of it. They don't want you to eat any of it.
Or you're going to gain weight, get fat, get sick. That brings us to goal number 4, which is shift to healthier food and beverage choices. Those are
all vegetables, all subgroups of vegetables, dark greens, red, yellow, starchy veggies.
And how do we know this?
Right
because
there.
It's written right here in the dietary guidelines. You have some concept of what a healthy food is. If you think you eat healthy, you might be wrong. We all can define health differently. But through a preponderance of the scientific evidence, the USDA has put together what healthier foods are.
Vegetables, all vegetables, green ones, red, yellow, starchy, everything.
Legumes, beans and peas, fruits, especially whole fruits. Come across anybody that tells people to eat whole foods or low-fat soy products? This is the vegan guidelines, the vegan adaptation. Instead of dairy, it says fortified soy and grains. Guess what kind of grains it tells you to eat in here?
Whole ones, whole grains.
At least half of your grains, whole. Whole starch, low fat. A variety of protein-rich foods, which can be vegan. And they list them here.
Beans, seeds, nuts,
legumes, soy products. Last goal number 5, which I think is actually the most important of all of them because it gives people a license to go out there and help everybody. It says support healthy eating patterns for all. Everyone has a role to create and support healthy eating patterns in multiple settings nationwide.
From home to school to work to communities.
Alright, but guess what? They go farther. This is just a summary. Concerted efforts among professionals within communities, businesses and industries, organizations, governments, and other segments of society. Who are they talking about? Vegans! Vegans! It's right here. It's telling us, get off your ass, make some YouTube videos, get out there and help people get healthy. Everyone has a role in helping individuals shift their everyday food, beverage, and physical activity choices to align with the dietary guidelines. That is all you YouTubers out there showing people how to do it.
Thank you.
Kristen and I live the proof. We both had continuing education in nutrition. We have college degrees. I have a master's degree. I went to law school. I spent the last 15 years of my life living the proof. I lost 100 pounds by following this diet. Kristen?
60.
And we kept it off and we enjoy it. We enjoy everything we eat. So this is Appendix 5 from the Dietary Guidelines, and it's a healthy vegetarian eating pattern. This pattern can be vegan if all dairy choices are comprised of fortified soy beverages, soy milk, or other plant-based dairy substitutes. Let's get into the kitchen,
Let's do it.
get these lab coats off, and make some real food
I'm ready.
for real people. Let us eat some plants! We are in the Healthy Vegan Kitchen, and we've taken these dietary guidelines, which contain all the minerals, all the nutrients, all the macronutrients you need, and condensed them into
2 little pages.
So what we have here is a 2,000 calorie diet. Just as an example, 2,000 calories is enough for a very small adult man or average adult woman. You likely need a lot more than that to meet your requirement. Anything under that is for small children. Any of these diets out there that tell you to restrict calories, they're wrong. You need to restrict calories from fat. We are going to show you a 2,000 calorie vegan diet that meets the USDA dietary guidelines till 2020.
Yep.
So what do we have here?
Many healthy eating patterns begins with a healthy breakfast. I just cooked 1 cup of oats with some fortified soy milk that they recommend and added some mangoes and blueberries and some bananas.
We added a little chia seed and a little flaxseed, which is fine if you're at a healthy weight. If you're at an unhealthy weight, consider holding off on added fats. It doesn't make sense when you want to take fat off your body to be shoveling fat in at the same time. Only the fat stores as fat. Anybody that has anything to say about that, we can biopsy your fat and see where it came from, and we can put isotopes in the sugar and trace the sugar right out of your system. That's how it works, that's science, live the proof. What's a healthy lunch look like? So according to the USDA dietary guidelines, this is a healthy vegan lunch. We have, for a 2,000 calorie diet, we have some spaghetti with some peas, some tomato sauce. You can have half of your grains from processed grains, which translates into 3 slices of bread per day for a 2,000 calorie diet. Again, if your energy needs are higher, you can have more. If your energy is lower, you need to have less, but these small slices of bread allowed me to make 2 tofu carrot sandwiches, and I put some more of this tomato sauce on them, and they're actually really delicious.
And then for dinner, I made this mighty yummy bowl with some azuki beans, brown rice, mushrooms, spinach, and a medium-sized potato, and then of course the USDA dietary guidelines wanted me to add in some extra fat, so I added in sunflower seeds.
This is an amazing bowl. You also get orange juice and soy milk.
Yeah, 3 cups of plant milk a day is what they're asking for.
And we have a little dessert here, which is some sweet potato with some walnuts and some blueberries. And there you have it. 2,000 calories, USDA vegan dietary guidelines. You can get all this information on our website. Please follow us. We're Mr. and Mrs. Vegan on YouTube.
We make tons of videos about normal life, recipes that are delicious, travel.
Please share this video with anybody else who thinks vegan eating is not healthy or they're not going to get their nutrients. We have them all. We've got all your nutrients right here. Shove it in their face. Thank you.
Do it.
I'm going to take this with me. And whenever some knucklehead tries to tell me I'm not getting something on my vegan diet, there you go. You're gonna find this in my back pocket. Research has shown that vegetables and fruits are associated with reduced risk of many chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease, and may be protective against certain types of cancer. Additionally, some evidence indicates that whole grain intake may reduce risk for cardiovascular disease and is associated with lower body weight.